in Grafton Jail's 5-wing in June last year, and the prisoner on the floor has reported an assault, only to be left to crawl to another cell.
How can anyone treat someone that way? They look sick and you just let them crawl across the floor.
52-year-old Ian Klum wouldn't survive his injuries, and what happened to him in jail is now the subject of an inquest. Ian Klum's relatives say he was the free spirit of the family.
Yes, we're all just about to move, and we're going to eat and be merry.
The father of two had suffered in recent years, breaking his hip in a paragliding accident and suffering a stroke. He'd also endured depression that had seen him 3 times in psychiatric care. After repeatedly being picked up for driving without a licence, in May last year, Ian Klum went before a magistrate, hoping a psychiatric report might keep him from prison. It wasn't to be.
He just brushed it off and told him, no, prison.
Ian Klum was sent to Grafton Jail for 6 months for traffic offences.
Dad shouldn't have been in prison in the first place.
On the night of June the 9th last year, the prisoners in number 5 wing were locked up as usual. What happened next between Ian Klum and another prisoner in cell 219 is the subject of a police investigation. Just before 2:30 in the morning, the silence was split by what's known as a knock-up call. Heavily bleeding Ian Klum hit the emergency intercom in cell 219. He might have hoped he'd be taken to hospital.
What's up?
Oh, I'm very sick.
What's the matter with you?
I'm bleeding.
Bleeding where?
From my mouth and my nose.
We'll let the boss know.
The prison's closed-circuit video shows 3 officers responding to the call. Their response has infuriated Ian Klum's family. When Ian Klum's cell door is opened, the prisoner slumps out onto the floor. But it appears no attempt is made to examine him for injuries, and at no time do any of the guards go into the cell to ask what happened or to examine what is now considered a crime scene. They would have found a large amount of blood. At one point, one of them tries to close the cell door to find the stricken prisoner's body is blocking it. The officer appears to use his leg to twice slide Ian Klum across the floor out of the way.
There's callous indifference with which the man is then he collapses out on the ground and is then just shifted with his foot, as though he's just a piece of rubbish on the ground, and then forced to crawl across the ground. I mean, this is and it just really establishes how little respect there is for them as human beings.
I'd see that as being treated like an animal in that situation. I don't find that a very human reaction to someone who looks hurt and sick.
The 3 officers open another cell and gesture to the fatally injured Ian Klum to move to it.
He had a brain hemorrhage, and you just crawling across the floor, you can imagine how much pain he'd be going through.
The video shows Ian Klum beginning his agonising crawl towards cell 225. One of the officers would later make a statement that the officers had helped Klum to the cell. At this week's inquest, he was made to watch this video and later conceded that statement was wrong. The dying man is then left alone for 9 minutes before the officers return. This time the intercom system records one of the prison officers speaking to Ian Klum at the cell door. Only now do the officers see the extent of Ian Klum's injury, but Officer Matt Barnett, on seeing Mr Klum's bloodied head, suggests the prisoner has somehow caused it since being moved.
Yeah, what's the matter?
You didn't have that on you when we fucking brought you out here. Get up now. Now, get up. Spinning out. Get up. Get up now. Come on, sorry, I can't. I'm spinning out. What's this got like? Yeah, stand up. I can't get up. Stand up. I'm spinning out. Stand up. Now walk.
Prison officer Matt Barnett told the inquest this week that he didn't intend to be disrespectful in the way he spoke to the dying man. Finally, a nurse is called into the jail and the officers half carry the slumping figure of Ian Klum downstairs to the prison's detox unit. As Ian Klum's life bled away, he made a final call on the intercom to receive this response.
The nurse is coming in to see you, so be quiet. There's other people down here asleep. You wait till the nurse gets here.
He knows in himself that he needs help. He knows how sick he is. He just didn't get taken seriously at all.
When the on-call nurse arrived, tests were done to assess Ian Klum's condition. It wasn't until after 5 in the morning, more than 3 hours after his original distress call, that Ian Klum was taken to Grafton Hospital, just a few metres across the road from the jail. He had emergency surgery there before being flown to Brisbane's Princess Alexandra Hospital. 4 days later, Ian Klum died. Brett Collins says his 30 years of agitating for the rights of prisoners tells him that the way the system dealt with Ian Klum is only unusual in that it's been exposed on video.
Any suggestion at all that they're sort of normal human beings with entitlement to respect by the prison officers, I'm afraid, just is not part of the prisoner culture.
For now, prison officer Rick Wolfel remains suspended. His fellow officers on the night, Matt Barnett and David Pearcey, are on extended leave. When the inquest resumes next March, it will continue to look at just how much different prison and health officials knew about Ian Klum's medical condition on the night of the injury. It will also determine whether the anticoagulant drugs he was prescribed left him in a critically vulnerable condition. And it will examine how the prison officers treated the crime scene and whether that may have robbed the family of the chance of finding out what happened to Ian Klum in cell 219.
Lawyers for the 3 prison officers and the Corrective Services Department wanted the coroner to place a non-publication order on the video footage in that story, fearing it would go viral. You've now seen why. Tim Palmer was the reporter there. Whatever you think of Sydney radio host Alan Jones, it's indisputable